Hey, Dr. Vance here. Are you in love? Now, I know some of you had arranged marriages, some of you fell in love before you got married and then you got married. But the question still remains, no matter how you got married, are you in love with the person to whom you're married? Now you may ask, okay, well, how do I know if I'm in love? All right, well, that's a fair enough question. Let's go ahead and read a passage out of Scripture. It comes right out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and it's verses 4 through 7. And it says, love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in the evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always persevere. So, does that passage describe your marriage? All right, so if you want to ask it another way, whether that you say, well, I've got some of those things, but here, let me ask you another way. You know how when you're walking down the street and you see a young couple and you just know they're in love? And you know they're in love because, they're either holding hands or he's got his arm around her, she's got his arm around him. And when they're standing next to each other, they're leaning into each other. They want to be close to each other. And then when they smile at each other, you've seen those smiles, right? You've seen them with, kids at church or whatever, and they're kind of looking at each other and they get this special little smile because that other person's special in the world. Is that the kind of love that's in your marriage? Oh, I know. Some of you will say, oh, I've been married. Dr. Vance, I've been married for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. How do you expect love like that to last? That's just kid stuff. Oh, no, it's not. I've been married for 35 years, and I've worked very hard to make sure that love like that stays in my marriage. Because this lady is the most incredible woman in the world to me. And I want her to know, and so I hold her hand and I tell her I love. So let me ask you, when was the last time you told your spouse that you love him or you love her? When was the last time you held her hand? When was the last time you put an arm around him? When was the last time that you sat next to each other just because you wanted to be next to each other? I was on the phone this morning and I had this couple and they were doing some teaching for me over in India, and the man said, yeah, he says, I told the audience that every week now I set aside 3 or 4 hours just to be with my wife, and we go do something special together. And the audience couldn't believe it, and yet it has changed their marriage. So today, are you in love? And if you're not, or if you're not quite as much in love as you were, then set out steps. Because remember, love is not about a feeling. Love is about actions. Go take some actions to fall in love again with your husband or your wife. Take actions today so that your marriage can be what you've always wanted it to be.